Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a long time, but I'm going to try to be more consistent. I know I said that last time, but I'm going to do it for real.
For real this time.
There's so much that is about to start changing in my life. A lot of big things happening. So yeah, y'all are going to see more of me. So if you haven't already, please go subscribe, click the subscribe button. So, how me and Quis met. If you don't know already, I have now been in a relationship since officially August 8th of 2020. We're a good 10 months in, coming up on the 11th, and it has been a wild ride, to say the least, because we are in fact 1,800 miles away from each other.
1,800 miles away from each other.
How that happened, the short version is the internet, but this video is here to tell you guys just exactly how that happened. So if you're interested in hearing the story, keep watching. First and foremost, we met last summer around June, July. This is when the pandemic was at a super all-time high. Everything was locked down. I was furloughed from my job and just trying to find multiple streams of income. So I started my business, but I needed a little bit more. So I started an OnlyFans. If you haven't seen that video already, that video is also on my page about how I started my OnlyFans, all that stuff. I don't do it anymore just because I've lost interest in it for a lot of reasons. If you guys know about the whole Bella Thorne scandal and all that, it just kind of fucked up the whole platform for a lot of people, and so the income from it got really inconsistent, and I was just very over it. It was I had posted it on my personal page, and there were a lot of people that I have known for years, went to school with, all that stuff, that were interested in my page, which is cool, like that's what I wanted. But it was starting to get weird. I still have some people on my Snapchat and stuff that are like, okay, but are you still doing OnlyFans? Can you keep doing OnlyFans? And I'm like, no. Leave me alone. So I don't do OnlyFans anymore, but I started one, and so a big part of promoting OnlyFans is a lot of people use Twitter and support groups. So I made a separate Twitter for my OnlyFans promotion and stuff, and I was noticing it is a very white concentrated industry. So I had Quis, who also does OnlyFans, and he still does his. I had seen him first as far as black creators, and I had noticed he had like a pretty high following and all these things. So I just DM'd him and I was like, hey, do you know of any black OnlyFans support groups that are on Twitter or anything like that? And he was like, no, not really, but I'll like keep a lookout and let you know. And I was like, cool. So then like 2 weeks went by, and I ended up just starting one myself. And so he was like the first person I added, of course, because he was one of the first black creators I had come across. So I added him, and then I added some other people, and we ended up getting like 50 deep in the group chat. And it was cool. We were doing great. Everybody was prospering, was very uplifting. It wasn't like most of the support groups where you just drop a tweet in there and tell people to retweet it, and then you just retweet everybody else's, and that's the most interaction that goes on. We were very like uplifting, very supportive. We got really personal with each other as far as confiding in things that were happening outside of OnlyFans and like content creating and all those things. There were some people going through some very, very hard relationships, like abusive relationships and things. So we became kind of like a family to each other. But also within that same energy, we were very flirtatious with each other, because of course you're getting a lot of content of seeing each other's bodies, of course very suggestive images, and of course to like encourage everybody and like keep uplifting, we're very complimentary. So it's like, damn babe, you look good, all this other stuff, I would do this and this and this. And so it was very flirtatious amongst everybody. But me and Quis were very flirtatious with each other, but it was like a different level of flirtatious. Like, we would start flirting in the group chat, and it was like everybody else in the chat would stop talking. and then it would just be us, and I would get real uncomfortable. I'm like, wait, okay, I feel like we're making things weird in the chat, and folks were just like, I'm just watching. Like, it was like watching porn or whatever. So like, and one day we were doing the back and forth and everything, and I made the comment, I was like, I don't know if he's serious or not, but he wildin'. And everybody in the group chat was like, no, he's very much dead ass, very real, he means that shit. And I was like, oh, okay. So I slid in the DM on the side. Because I felt bad for like doing it in the chat, because everybody was like, it was all fun and games and yada yada. But then I felt bad about doing it in the chat, because I was like, this might be making people feel uncomfortable, because it was dead ass. So I messaged him on the side, and I was like, you better stop playing with me. And he was like, nobody's playing. And I was like, oh. So then we had our little thing on. Sorry, I had to pull my necklace out. You know, I'm always repping my baby. But so then we started like talking for real on the side. And so in the chat, we were planning on doing like a group link up, just, you know, finally meet everybody in person, kind of have some great vibes, you know, get some much needed time away from our everyday lives. And we were planning on doing either a trip to Atlanta or to Vegas. There was a lot of us on the east side who it would be easier to get to Atlanta. Like me, it's a 4-hour drive, so I was like aiming for that. But I had also never been to Vegas before at the time, so I was like, that'd be cool. And a lot of the people in the group were on the west side over in California and things like that. And I thought it would be a fun experience. So we started trying to plan that trip. And of course, like anything else, you try and plan anything with black people, especially trips, everybody flakes. It's either like all at once, it either trickles, or it's when the money part pops in. I'm very much a planner. So I'm like, okay, when are we doing this? I found this B&B, this is how much it'll cost for this, boop, boop. Who's ready? It's like every day I'm like, okay, so who's going? I'm keeping a list. How many people? I'm trying to break down pricing, whatever. And so eventually we came to the realization that folks were really just like, they liked the idea, so they're like, hell yeah, let's do it, but weren't actually trying to make it happen. I'm very much a plan and do person, so I was just like, fuck it. And we were talking on the side before we realized we were just gonna scratch the whole idea. We were like, listen, we want to meet in person, so if they all plan, we're just gonna meet up somewhere and call it a day. So again, this is when the pandemic and everything was like super at an all-time high, so traveling was not much of a thing. And my birthday is in September, so I was like, I want to do something for my birthday. Like, I have to do something for my birthday. I've never been anywhere west past Houston. So I was like, I want to go to LA. And I just looked online. I was like, let's just see for shits and giggles how much the ticket is. This was like in July that I was looking at this. And I looked, and the round trip ticket from Tennessee to California was $70. $70. I bought it right then and there. I was like, listen, if I don't even go, it's $70. Like, whatever. There's a round trip ticket. And it wasn't like a Spirit flight. It was American Airlines. For $70 round trip, cross country. So I bought it. And so I told him, because originally the plan was we were going to plan our group trip for in August. Well, of course, by July, we're like, okay, y'all are bullshitting. Oh, he posted me. Anyway. Y'all are bullshitting. So yeah, we were like, I told him, I was like, well, I bought a ticket to LA for my birthday. I'm going between this day and this, I'll be there for a week. And I know you live in Sacramento, so if you want to come meet up. And he was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So eventually it like went from a group trip to us actually going to meet in person. So I get to LA. I got there first because he had to work that day. So I got there first. I got the Airbnb and stuff, and he came and met me down there the next day, that Saturday. And when I picked him up from the airport, it was like we had known each other for years. Like, it didn't, you know, when you meet somebody new, it's like that weird kind of awkwardness where you're like, I don't know how to act. Like, I don't know how they're gonna react to certain things. I don't want to be like too weird or too out there. But it was real easy. Like, I jumped on him at the airport, gave him a huge hug and kiss, because we had been talking for maybe like 2 or 3 months by this time, and we were just really excited to kind of be in each other's presence. So in the ride back, of course, we're holding hands, all that cute stuff, but it was very like, we felt so calm and so at peace and just very safe in each other's presence, and it was amazing. So we get back to the Airbnb, and this trip was, we wanted to meet each other and all this stuff, but it wasn't really intended for us to get together. We were just like, we'll meet, hang out, you know, enjoy the vibes, we'll film some content for OnlyFans, and yeah, and that'll just be it. So we get back to the Airbnb, and of course we're like, now we're on each other and all that stuff, and we're about to get into some things. And we were like, should we record this? And we both looked at each other and we were like, this is our first time like being with each other, like really being with each other, so we're gonna keep this one for ourselves. And that's exactly what we did, and it was an unreal, like, magical experience. Like, I know, like, sex can be very, you know, whatever. It can be very casual. You can do it with whom the fuck ever, and it just be that. But it felt different. It felt very different. And of course, afterwards, we like talked, we laid, we hung out, we ate, all of that stuff, and it was just a great time. We were together probably out of the whole week 4 days. He came Saturday and had to leave on Tuesday on my birthday because he had to go back to work on Wednesday. So for those 4 days, we explored. We went to the Hollywood sign, and it was funny because neither of us were dressed for what we thought we were about to partake in when we went to the Hollywood sign, because when we originally got there, we parked and realized that where we parked, it was an entire hike up the mountain. I was in like this long little maxi dress and sandals that were not meant for walking, and he was in like a button up, some skinny jeans, and some other shit. But we were all for it. We were like, fuck it, it's an experience, we're here to experience it together. I took my shoes off. He's like helping me not slide down fucking rocks. And then eventually we realized there was a way to drive up, and then we went and drove up, and there was these girls up at the top, and they offered to take our picture. And so we're like, sure. We posed with the picture and stuff, and they like took the picture, and they're looking, and they're like, y'all are a beautiful couple. Like, this is unreal. And we're just like, yeah, whatever. But then we went back and looked at the pictures, and we were like, these are amazing. And it wasn't like super like ridiculously crazy quality pictures or nothing like that, but we just looked like we had been together for a minute. And if you haven't seen the picture that I'm talking about, it's on my Instagram. I think it's on his Instagram. But it's the picture where I'm in the white dress and he's got on that like faint pinkish shirt, whatever, and I have my white backpack on. We're like looking at each other. You see the Hollywood sign very faintly in the back. That's the picture I'm talking about. But yeah, so we went to the Hollywood sign. What else did we do? We did a lot. We ate a lot mostly. Most of it was us just eating and chilling in the Airbnb. We like binge watched Empire the entire time. But I cooked him a home cooked meal, and he called his mom and told his mom about it. Because I was telling him when we were talking on the way for it to lead up to us meeting about how he's lived in California all his life. He's from California. I am extremely Southern, like very Southern Belle all day, every day. So I was like, I'm gonna have to make you some soul food, like real life soul food, like turnip greens from scratch, baked macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, all of that stuff. So I did, and it was great. Of course, not to toot my own horn, but beat the fuck beat. And yeah, he called his mom. It was like, yeah, mom, this the one. Absolutely. And I was laughing, because I thought it was funny. I thought he was joking, but it was real life. But yeah, and then he left, and I was sad, but I was extremely happy, because it was a great experience. Like, our energy was just amazing. And then once the trip was over, we both had like these super, super, super deep feelings that we didn't expect to have. And so then it got a little rocky for a second, because neither of us were planning on like getting into a relationship. I had actually just gotten out of a relationship like the weekend of Juneteenth. And so neither of us were really trying to get into a relationship or anything. But I kind of got to a point in life where I was tired of like having deep feelings for someone who didn't want to be in a relationship, but then just like still hanging around. So once those feelings came up, I was really like, okay, so what are we doing? And at first he was like, I mean, like, you know, just practically doesn't really make sense for us to do this right now. Like, you live there, I live here, like, let's just figure it out. And I'm like, we're talking about we love each other and all these things, but we're not together. Like, I don't see a point. And so I kind of got frustrated, and I kind of tried to jump ship because I just didn't want to get stuck in that scenario again. But then I think once I was just kind of like, I can't do it. He was like, honestly, like, my goal was not to get in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship right now, but I want you in my life, and I am determined to keep you in my life. So if being in a relationship, like, if that's what that means, being in a relationship means having you in my life, then let's do it. Because really the only thing that changed was us literally verbally saying we're in a relationship. That was it. And so once we decided that we were in a relationship and we realized we had been in one, we had to figure out when our anniversary date was gonna be. And we had been talking since like mid-July, but it got really intense fast, like within like a week or two. So we had chosen August 8th as our official start date. For one, that's my favorite day. My favorite number is 8, and August 8th is an extremely important day to me, just because it's the double eights, meaning forever and always. That's also going to be our wedding date. I don't know what year, but it's going to be our wedding date, so just be ready. But yeah, so that's how like our relationship started. And ever since then, we've seen each other for a couple of days at a time, every 2 or 3 months. And most of them have been unplanned. Like, besides LA was planned. Valentine's Day was planned. We didn't plan for it to be in Nashville, but the time was planned. We originally weren't going to see each other again after LA until Valentine's Day, but my love language is physical touch and quality time. His is quality time more so than physical touch. Mine's very much physical touch, and I feel better having him with me. So Christmas time, well, it was like a week or so before Christmas, I just bought a flight. I was like, I really want to see you. I have the time off. And so I went for Christmas. That's when I met his family. And they were great. We spent most of our time with his family. So his mom, grandmother, siblings, nieces and nephews, everybody. So now I am a part of the family, very much so. When we met, Mom was like, okay, so when you guys decide to move together, are you gonna take my son from me and take him to Nashville, or are you gonna come out here? And I was like, I absolutely hate Nashville. I'm for sure gonna be out here. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be there. And she's like, okay, cool. So yeah, and then Valentine's Day he came out here, got stuck because there was an entire ice storm going on. So he was supposed to be here for like 4 days, ended up being here for like 9. I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled. He hated it. My feelings were hurt because he was frustrated for like the second half of the trip, but he was frustrated because he was in a city where the temperature was like 60 degrees under what he's used to, didn't know his way around. All he had here really was me and a brother he doesn't even like. So I understood, but my feelings were a little hurt, but it's okay because I don't like Nashville either. We're really only gonna come back to Nashville for like my homecomings, and then if something significant happens here, I don't know. But yeah, the goal now is to move in together in October. So that's what we're working towards now. It's been a great experience. We have learned that we are very much twin flames, and we figured that out because there are a lot of things as far as internal healing that I have to do, that he has to do, that somehow our past experiences and traumas they kind of align with each other in weird ways. Like, I have a horrible relationship with my father, and if you haven't watched that video yet, that video is also on my YouTube. He has mended some like old wounds and things with his mother and stuff, but of course there are still those like underlying kind of feelings and emotions attached to it, but we kind of like help each other through it. Of course, I've got some mental health stuff, he's got some mental health stuff, but we kind of balance each other out as far as like where I may fall short on some things, he falls short. Hold on one second. Hi, babe.
Hi, mama. You busy?
I'm recording for YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love you. Bye.
I love you too.
Bye.
So we've just kind of been helping each other grow a lot, and it gets hard sometimes. Our toxic traits pop up every now and then. Everybody has them. One of mine is I shut down when I'm emotional, like completely shut down. I don't want to talk. I don't want to work it out. I don't want none of that. I just want to be by myself, just be left alone. But it makes it worse because then my thoughts fester, and whatever it is I'm upset about, I've created something totally different out of it. And like for him, he kind of feels like if I'm not completely understanding what he's saying, he just don't want to say it no more. He's like, well, fuck it. Like, if you don't get it, then... But we somehow managed to work through it every time. Our communication has grown insanely from our pasts, and it's just been amazing. I can't wait to do life with him. I can't wait to have children with him, build our first house together, and yeah, that is the story of me and Quis. I don't really know what else to say on it. We're still growing, we're still learning, still falling in love more and more every day. So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any more suggestions for videos, please let me know in the comments, on my TikTok, on my Instagram. I will tag mine and his social medias and all that stuff in the description below. Oh, also, if you have not already, absolutely shop my brand. My website will be in the description below as well. Self-care brand dedicated to healing of the mind, body, and soul. Black woman owned business. Please hop on that because you need it. Everyone needs it. And yeah, but that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in with Bree, aka Kenya Lee. See ya.